calling.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
It's Winter Joelle.
It's your girl, D.
It's Amani Ko.
And I'm Tanaijah Jallana, and I'm going to be your host for today's episode. Welcome back to yet another chit chat with the girlies. Okay, we're back. I don't even know what number episode we're on, but we've been doing this for a little while now. So thank you, groupies, for, hanging in there with us. We appreciate y'all. So as you know, our dynamic, us four, it's something special, something that I don't think any podcast has. I think we're one of one. But not only are we friends by choice, but we're family by fate. But sometimes in friendships, you hit bumpy roads. You hit these times or seasons in your life where nobody's talking, the group chat is dry. We do it too. We have moments where none of us have talked to each other out of all four of us. Everybody's just kind of all out of the loop. But again, we're special, so we always reel it back in. But sometimes that's a little bit harder to do in certain dynamics. So today I want to just get into all things friends, but like friends when the group chat goes silent, when nobody's talking, when the chat goes from popping to straight crickets. How do you notice the vibe shift in your friend groups? And how does that make you guys feel? Let's just start off there. How does that make you feel when the vibe, even with us, we can use us as an example because we go through this. When our vibe is just dead, not because we don't want to talk to each other, but we just go through, spurts of time where everything's going haywire. How does that make you feel when the vibe is just kind of dead in the group? Let's just say in the group chat, but in general.
If I'm being completely honest, a lot of times when the group chat's dead like that, I feel like most of the time we are all on similar vibes, but within our own lives. So it's not even like the group chat's in the front of my brain. In the beginning, like if I'm taking time, it's probably just because my whole life is just like a little bit crazy. And then when I realize like, oh, I haven't talked to my girls in a minute, let me reach out to them. Then I'll shoot the group chat a text or something like check up like, hey, how you guys doing or something like that. But I feel like most of the time when I'm distant, I don't even realize I'm distant just from my friends in general. It's like I don't even pay attention to it. It's just me going into my little bubble that I do. And then next thing you know, when I'm out of it, I'm out of it.
I feel the same way. Before I used to be like, okay, guys, what's going on? But now I'm just like, everybody just be going through their own stuff. So it's like, everybody is doing that. When we're in our own phase and doing that stuff, then it's like, all right, it's understandable and why that vibe is not there anymore because everybody's going through their own stuff. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Amani was 100% the one who was doing the roll calls, like, where y'all at? I ain't talked to nobody in a minute.
Yes,
what's
she
going
definitely
on?
was keeping us alive for sure.
Yes. But I think I've just always naturally been a very distant person. Like my default is distant. I'm not the person who's going to be reaching out every day. I'm not the one calling you it doesn't matter how close we are. Like you could be the closest of the closest to me. I'm just a naturally very distant person. It's how I just prefer to live my life. Honestly, it's not even a thought. It's not intentional. It's just how I am. And then secondly, I'm much more the in-person friend. Like anybody who knows me knows, don't be calling me all the time because there's very few people who I could just sit on the phone with and not get irritated, or not want to skedaddle, love you, talk to you next time. So I think just as a whole, it doesn't necessarily bother me when the group chat goes silent. What does start to make my spidey senses go off is if I'm not getting the regular check-ins that I was getting before, or if I am reaching out, because I don't reach out all that often. So normally when I do, it's never a matter of somebody not answering my call. But when I do go to check on my people and they are not responsive, then it's like, all right, something's going on. Also, my intuition is very strong. So that's another thing. I think when you get close enough to your people, like your core circle, you can feel when something is off. And you also know who to tag in to go check on that particular person in the group when you feel like something is off. So that's something that I rely on very heavily.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I always say that I feel like I'm a great friend, but I also call myself a bad friend because I'm not the friend that is constantly doing the check-in. I will, when I feel so, reach out and just say, hey, how's everything going? Or, really quick, give a call or something. But I do so bad. Like, it's something that I have to really intentionally work on, just in general, overall. So I feel you on that 100%.
What's
What?
the for?
Because I feel like personally, I always felt like I needed to work on, reaching out to people. But honestly, I'm
Yeah.
tired of pouring into empty cups. I'm going to say that
Yeah.
right now. I'm
Yeah.
And
tired
that
of doing that.
I feel that. Okay, so that brings us into the next thing that I really want to talk about. So at what point, how do you identify, let me say it like that, how do you identify when it's just your friend, going through a tough time, and so that's why they're not, kind of reciprocating that energy, versus someone that you're actually just, distancing from, the relationship is just fading, and that's just really what it is. How do you tell the difference? Or what makes you feel like there's the difference between the two? Like, what signs do you feel like, whether it is like Amani saying that I feel like I'm pouring into an empty cup and I never get the same energy back anymore than like how I used to. So now I kind of know, okay, this relationship is shifting.
That's a really, really good question. I think every relationship is different. So the signifiers for every relationship would be different. Like even within our friendship dynamic, like if I call Tanaijah 3 times in the same day and she don't answer, I'm not tripping. But if over the span of 3 weeks, I call her 3, and that's so crazy because I mean like literally just 3 calls. The number of calls is not changing. But if I call her 3 times over the span of 3 weeks and there's no response, literally when we do get the chance to get on the phone, I'm hitting her with, I thought we wasn't friends anymore. With
For
Deasia,
sure.
if I text Deasia and she doesn't answer, then I'm like, oh, what I do? Like, what's wrong? Amani, if I FaceTime that girl and she does not answer my call, I mean the first FaceTime, I don't care, sleep, well, she could be asleep, or call me back, then I'm like, you good? So for everyone, it's different. But I think feeling the vibe being off, like again, it goes relationship by relationship. Like you can tell when you guys are starting to drift apart. If there's just isn't the same sense of companionship, if there isn't the same sense of connection, like those are things that I think are really hard to put words to. If you feel as though there is a drift, it can be one of 2 things. Either it's time to move on, you've outgrown that relationship with that person, and that's perfectly okay, or you're just in a season of distance, and that's fine too, because like Amani said, everybody is living their own life. Like we all live very, very full lives. But if I'm checking in and a check-in is, I'm straight. Nah, it wasn't nothing. Yeah. Oh, okay. Because what is that? Then that's a sign that,
real simple responses.
Like,
Like
what is
real
that?
dry, real desert.
Right. You're not giving me nothing. I'm over here parched. But yeah, no, for real. So if that's the responses that I'm getting, then I'm like, okay, something's up. And then it's a matter of, all right, let's talk about it, or just decide to wipe my hands clean and move on.
Yeah, before I feel like I was such like an emotional roller coaster when it came to all my friendships. Like I feel like I was like in it so deep that it really like put an emotional toll on me. Like I feel like everything that was like going on in my friendships, like it felt like it was something wrong with me. Like I'm just like, what is going on? Like I was always trying to like fix a situation or figure out why there was distance or try to fix it. And like honestly, I'm I'm just not doing it anymore.
Well,
I'm just
knowing you,
not.
I feel like you've always been that way though. Like you've always been the person that's like trying to maintain the relationships that's been around you. And I think just now you have just grown up to realize that you don't have to do that much work for you to have valuable friendships. And I think that it was just a learning moment for you. So like for you, it felt like everything was falling apart. You're like, what is going on? I have no friends. All my friends are blah, blah, blah. But that's only because I feel like you were used to being the person that keeps everyone together. And then once you learn to realize that you don't need to do that, you're like, hold up. Now I don't got no friends. And the whole time, it's not that they don't want to be a friend. They just dealing with their own stuff. So I feel like you just had
Right.
to like learn that over these past couple years. Like for me, when it comes to, it's so funny that Winnie said that if I don't text her back is a thing because I'm really bad at texts. First of all, my text number right now is at 445 unopened text. So don't text me. But it's when it comes to our group chat, we're not even a texting group chat. I feel like we like barely hold good conversations in text. Like we'll do like a quick little kiki or laugh at something. But when it comes to text messages, like that's just not our thing. Like we're really quick with a good spontaneous FaceTime call and then we'd be on the call for 2+ hours. Like that's how our group works. So for me, when
Yes.
I
Mhm.
when I like text you guys, I like don't really see, like it's nothing. Like when it's about business, then I'm like, why are they not responding? Like, hello, like, yes. But when it's like about like in our separate group chat, because little, just so you guys know, all of our listeners, we have 2 group chats. We have one for like the podcast and like business work. And then we have one that's like just our personal that we never change. So when I text like that group chat, if I don't hear anything back, I'm not too pressed about it because we don't really talk. But like the business one, I'd be like, what? Somebody better respond to my text. Like, I'm not going to keep
Absolutely.
texting in this group
She
chat
does.
and no one's responding because that be
No, for
ticking me
sure.
off.
She does.
Like, I didn't know that y'all are busy, but y'all better see this just see this. It's been 4 hours and 3 days since I sent this text message. But for me, I found like, personally, I've outgrown pretty much all of the relationships I've had with my friends lately. Like, and I don't mean I've outgrown them where I don't talk to them anymore, but I've just outgrown them to the point where I don't speak to them as frequently as I have at different points in my life. And I just learned that one, I'm just out of my friend group, I'm pretty much the only one that has a child. So like I completely live a different life than each and every one of them. So it's okay. And there was a point in time where when you like have a child, you end up grieving your past life. You grieve you're preparing a new life. Like there's a lot of emotions, a lot of changes going on. So for a while I was overwhelmed and like thinking like, oh my gosh, I have no friends. Like, but at the end of the day, I realized it was time for me to outgrow certain type of things. Like I'm not a party goer. I don't go out that often already. So like I can't expect to hang out with those type of friends because I don't even do that type of stuff anymore. So I have to be one, open to finding new relationships and friendships as an adult, which is scary to me. And 2, be okay with the fact that these are
Very.
probably your forever people, but they're just not in your life every day, and that's perfectly fine. But you can call them, you can talk to them, you would invite them out to your birthday dinner or something. You just don't see them every day anymore. And that's totally fine too. I think it's hard growing up and realizing like you come from a school base with friends where you see these people every single day. So then you go to college and you have that same type of vibe like every single day. So when you're an actual adult, your adult friendships are completely not like that. Like I'm booking hangouts with my friends months in advance. So we know like
For
we are hanging
sure.
out on this day next month because it's really difficult to maintain that when you're an adult, let alone not even having a kid, just in general, like life just be lifing. So
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I also think, piggybacking off of something that you said, there's definitely a difference between a friendship fading and the dynamic of your friendship just changing. I think sometimes there's just friendships that fade because you are in different seasons and it just, it just doesn't work out. We just, we're not on the same page. Our friendship doesn't benefit either one of us, so it just kind of fades and lies dead where it is. Whereas there's other friendships that you have that the dynamic just changes. You know, we don't do the same things anymore. So you kind of do your thing, I do my thing. And when we're together, we do our thing. But that's really it. Like, we're not in the same scenes and things like that. I feel like I see that a lot with myself, with the people around me. I mean, obviously it changed a lot because I moved. So in general, things shifted. But I had this conversation with Deke, I'm pretty sure, where I was like, I started to fear being like the saved, like, church girlfriend, you know, like, oh, I don't do this anymore and I don't participate in these kind of things. And so it's like, so I'd rather just not really invite people to hang out with me because I don't want to be like the lame person, like not as fun as I used to be or something like that. We had kind of had like a short conversation about that, and that's out the window. I don't really care. I do what I do. You do what you do. I mean, I've always been, not to say like, I'm not trying to say it this kind of way, but I've always been different. And Dee Dee also said that to me too. She was like, you've always been to me the church friend. Like, you've always been that friend. You've never participated in half of the things that people around us participated in anyway.
I'm like, if anything, I was making you do stuff, and not making, because you're very independent.
Yeah.
You never needed, you weren't like a follower ever. But I would like, if we were doing stuff, it was because I was getting you to do it. It wasn't like, and if my aunt listening, don't try to think I was doing it. It was nothing crazy. I'm just saying.
No, it was never nothing crazy. No.
I'm just saying,
But
like, you've always
so
been
true.
like that.
It is so true. So it does shift. Things do. I think friendships, a lot of times, the dynamic changes more so. And I think sometimes we wrongly or incorrectly diagnose the friendship and say, oh, we're just growing apart. Whereas no, your dynamic is just changing, but you have to be okay with sitting in the shift of the dynamic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Sometimes I got to tell the difference, like you said, if it's actually changing or we're actually outgrowing each other. So I definitely feel like I've been doing better with trying to more so just focus on myself and what I got going on, because I have a issue with being like, basically like getting this emotional attachment when it comes down to like my friends' problems, and I just need to stop doing that sometimes. And when I feel like I am, or when it's getting to that point, I have to like distance myself so it's not so crazy to the point where it's like what they're going through is what I'm going through, if you know what I mean. Because you could just say so much to a person, they're only going to listen to themselves. So people got to learn to go through their own things by themselves.
I 100% agree. Sometimes, and I think this goes even just people in your life, period, whether it's siblings, friends, even your parents, just people around you, you have to learn to distance yourself from their issues. It's okay to be there, be supportive, give your advice, but you have to let it just lie where it is, because you can't have more skin in the game than they do. Just like my mom used to always say this to me, I can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. And I think that just applies for anyone that you come into contact. And I think sometimes, especially we all know each other really well, but I know, like, Amani, you have this. First of all, I want to say, I love the way that you love your people. I love the way that all of us love our people. We take that to the heart. I love the way that you love your people. I do believe that I have witnessed you, obviously as an outsider to your friendships, be someone who does get overly invested. And it's like, now you're in a whirlwind because they're in a whirlwind. And it's like, okay, wait. Take a step back. Let's take a step back and let's reframe this. Don't forget, this is their problem. You can only say but so much. Let them figure it out. That's the best that you can do. I think you just have the heart to provide an out for people. And sometimes they don't want an out. They don't want it. They want to live in their chaos, and you just have to let them. But I definitely do see the growth as well, commending you on, handling your friendships in a different way than you have in the past. That made me think about something you used to always say, like, a friendship is like a relationship, right? parallel, let's say, to a romantic relationship. Amani used to say that all the time, and that just made me think, okay, so what's worse? What's worse, a friendship breakup or romantic breakup? What do you guys think is worse to go through?
They're the same. Sorry, I couldn't even let that question air out. It's the exact same. And hold on, I gotta choose my words very carefully here. They are the exact same, depending on how intense the friendship is, right? Like there are lifelong friends where the betrayal from that friend or very individuals that you are very, very close to, right? Like on a soul deep level. Like this is my friend because that's my friend. Like I can't give you one specific reason as to why this person is my friend. They're for me. Like that's it. Like I love them with my soul. Same thing with your relationship. At least I hope you're in a relationship with somebody that you love with your soul. But if you're not,
right.
you know, neither here nor
Different
there.
conversation for a different day.
Different conversation. This does not pertain to you. But it hurts the same because at the end of the day, the heart cannot tell the difference between the loss of a friend, the loss of a loved one, a relative, or the loss of your spouse. Like the grief hits the same. Now, one will linger longer than the other. That I firmly do believe. Like the loss of a loved one or the loss of a spouse may linger longer than the loss of a friend. But grief is grief. It hurts the same. You're still going to have to grieve the ending of that relationship. You're still going to have to come to terms with that betrayal, or you're still going to have to come to terms with that separation the same way you would in a romantic relationship. And at the end of the day, when you let people in, it hurts no matter whether or not it's a romantic or platonic relationship. It hurts when things end. So yeah, there's that. Unless if it was rightfully, justifiably time for you to cut that thing loose. That's a different story.
So
100% agree.
Okay, so then that makes me think of another question, which is what's worse, ending the friendship over a specific issue or the whole we're just not vibing anymore, the friendship is over?
What's worse between having an agreeing to not talk anymore because we're not vibing, or we're like in a fight that caused us to not speak?
Wait, is the
Honestly,
question what's worse?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, I
what's
can't
worse
really
with ending
think
a
of.
friendship?
For me, like, I can't really even think of which one would be completely worse, because I'm thinking like you having a fight or something like that, there's probably a lot of anger involved. So there's probably a lot more chances that you're not able to fully process your thoughts and everything before you guys are like calling it quits, compared to you both having an agreement, like, we're not vibing anymore. Let's just like cut ties type of vibe. I feel like that definitely would probably be better than like an angry fight, because I feel like with the fight or something like that, it leaves like closure. Like you normally want closure, or like to talk it through later, unless it's like really, really bad. So honestly, I don't know which one could be like worse than the other. Like I feel like either way, it's both unfortunate. I probably would pick like an agreement thing, so like we both talked about it and like that's how we both feel, compared to having like a whole fight.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I'm going to look at it from a different perspective, kind of because I don't do the whole coming to the table, let's talk about it type thing. Like or I should say, I've never been in a situation where myself and my friend have had to have a conversation about whether or not we're going to continue this friendship. But speaking it from like the singular perspective, whether or not I'm deciding to step away because this just isn't for me, or they did something that I'm like, I just can't get with. Honestly, again, I think they the same.
Fair response, fair response.
And here's why. At Actually, no. I'm going to go with something actually happened is worse. Because if I have to make the decision to step away because of something that you've done that's hurt me, disrespected me, made me feel some type of way to the point where I'm thinking about it and questioning your morals, your values, and your intentions in this relationship, that's a problem. And 9 times out of 10, I'm mad at myself because I let you get that close to the point where it actually affects me. So yeah, now that I'm getting into it, that's 100 times worse because at the end of the day, I'm gonna always blame me. I am a very,
Like,
yeah,
what was
it's
your
always
role
my
in this?
fault. Yeah, it's always my fault. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So yeah, that's gonna be worse for me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like for me, it's definitely worse to end a friendship over a like specific issue. Quick story time. In college, I you know, made friends with someone my freshman year, and we grew really, really close. I've been to her home, like spent time around her family. Her grandparents passed away. I drove up there, like was there for the funeral. I don't know, these people. I'm just coming because my friend is going through something, and to know me is to know if I get to the place of calling you my friend, you're really my friend, and I'm gonna show up when it counts. So anyway, long story short, we were friends. I showed up a lot of times, as I should, because that's the type of friend that I am. But then at a certain point, again, going through the whole ghosting thing, I stopped hearing from her. Things were going on with school. I'm pretty sure things were going on with her family. So I'm not one to press, I check in, and it just kind of is what it is. But when I find out that now you're on campus, I haven't heard from you, but I'm reaching out. And when one of our mutuals asks you like, hey, Tanaijah let me know that she's been reaching out, like, have you gotten back to her yet type of thing. It's I don't have to reach out to her. Oh, okay. Now I understand. Now you've reached a different side. And you know what? Okay, so now much like Winter said, now I'm thinking about all of the things that I've done, because I haven't even talked about here all of the things, but I know the sacrifices that I've made just because I considered you my friend, and you think okay, you got it. It's okay. Let it go.
Yeah. It's cool.
It's cool. It's really cool. Because and the people that were around me in that I was forcing other people to do stuff for you that don't even like you. And they were doing it
what a
like me.
What a time.
Are you crazy?
A little bit. A little touched.
Okay.
A little bit.
So, yeah, because I feel like, honestly, we just would have never talked, and that conversation wasn't had with our mutual. I just would have, it is what it is. Leave us, whatever. But the fact that you came out of your mouth and said, I don't have to reach out to her, I don't this, I don't that. Well, what did I do to you? What's the issue?
Yeah.
Okay. It's fine.
Yeah, I've
All
definitely.
good.
Yeah, that's just weird energy. Weird energy. Absolutely not. I literally just posted about weird energy on my Instagram story last night because that's exactly how I was feeling off of a specific person, because of how people be just moving. And I just don't like the weird energy. And I don't like that certain people don't realize that they're being weird or moving weird. Like, that really irks me so bad. And I feel like lately I've been the type to, it's like, I don't even want, what's the word? What's the word that we just said about trying to like basically figure out like why it happened, or basically help ourselves to figure out like why it is what it is and to feel better about a situation. What's the word?
There's a lot of words for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We just
did I
said
say something
it.
specific?
I think Deasia just said it. I think Deasia had said it. I forgot what the word. God, it's like mine. It just went blank. But yeah, like I don't feel like I need
Closure.
any closure. Yep, that's exactly
Come on here.
I'm good at
words.
this game, okay? I am good at this game.
But yeah, lately I just been feeling like I don't need any closure. I'm in a point in my life where I just won't talk to you ever again. I don't have to say no words to you. I shouldn't even have to explain to you why I'm not messing with you no more.
Yes.
Because now I'm just wasting my breath. I just don't care
'Cause
anymore.
you know.
Okay.
I don't.
You
Like,
know. See? See?
what?
Where my fan at? Because I'm
You should
hot.
already, because like you should already know why I'm not messing with you. I shouldn't even have to explain myself. Like I already don't like
Right.
explaining myself. I already don't like repeating myself. So the fact that you want me to explain myself, I'm
Mhm.
not doing it.
Crazy word.
Sorry.
Crazy word.
100%.
Sorry. Figure it
See,
out.
that
Figure the puzzle.
literally leads me into exactly where I was going to go based off of the story that Tanaijah just told. To know me is to know. Call me a Capricorn, call me whatever you want, earth sign, whatever you want, that I move off of principle and I have very high standards. I do not allow for a lot of chances for you to play in my face. And I have cut people off for much less. And I don't even like using the term of cutting people off. I have literally ended relationships, gone on about my business, left people where they at. Off of the principle, right? I've stopped talking to new friends because the friendship was still new. We're figuring each other out, but I make myself very plain from day one. To know winter is to know winter. And if there's any inkling that you have the wrong assumption of me, I will very clearly and kindly, educate you on who I am. But I cut off a new friend because she messed or was messing with married men and kept excusing the act of doing so. Very, very sweet girl. Still love her dearly. Will still check on her if I see something off on social media. But as far as letting you into my house, I can't do it. And it's not even about me being worried about anything in my home, but it's just off of principle. That's not somebody that I would want to be around. My standards are very high for myself and for my people. So, and there's also instances where things have happened to me. I'm not giving you an explanation because you know you were dead wrong. Would I do that to you? Did you lie to me about it? Did you feel like you needed to lie to me about it? Okay, that's problem number one. Because you knew you should have never did it. So again, to know me is to know I move off of principle. I don't need closure. I will leave you right where you at because that is your problem, not mine. Now, if you're really broken up about it and you just feel like you need to get some things off your chest and it'll make you sleep better at night, we can talk about it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you did it. And that's just
ain't no talking about it. They nothing to talk about.
But she said, I don't care if you want it. I'm not giving it to you.
Sorry. Absolutely not. I'm not giving you none of my energy, none of my time. You should already know I'm not messing with you. There's nothing for us to talk about. I don't care if you're going through something. I'm going through something. We all going through something.
Right, we all going through something. Okay.
No, 100%.
Because I'm not about to make you feel like we still cool on that level and we not. Sorry. Bye.
But there's a way to maneuver that. But I think that comes with time. Like, I had to learn that because I was definitely very black and white. But now I'm like, all right, we could talk about it, but we still not friends. I love you, but we're still not friends.
I guess I ain't there yet.
I feel like it definitely depends on what's going on because, to be honest, like, I've never really had a falling out with any specific friend. Like, and if I did, definitely don't remember it. So it is what it is. But a recent situation within the past couple of years that I've had with a friend that was on some weird vibes type of energy, like just stopped getting text messages or started to get weird responses or not really a response or like kind of the cold shoulder, which kind of left me stunned being the type of value that I had for this person. And I didn't expect it. So I've had something like that happen where it took a whole year before we actually had a conversation all to realize, the things that were, this person was going through. But after we had this like the adult conversation about it, it definitely felt better. It like eased my mind. Like it wasn't like a blame game or anything that we did. And it was just like a mature conversation. I understood just based on like where this person was at the time that we talked. So it was like easy to open up in my way. I also was just in a different mindset in general because a year before that, there would have been no talking because you guys already know I talked to you about the situation multiple times. It would have been a very
curse out, probably never speaking again type of situation. But it took a year of no talking for me to be in a place where I was ready to actually hear what was going on, but also able to communicate my perspective and how situations were done to me that were incorrect, which this person was mature enough to realize where they were wrong. And again, this is like my sister. So we go way back and have a lot of history together. So I was definitely hurt by our relationship being how it was because I would have never expected it. But after having that conversation, no, we don't talk every day now because, again, we still had that long period of time of outgrowing each other. But it is still like the same type of vibe where I'm able to, when I do FaceTime her or talk to her, we're chill. Like it's like the same connection in an adult way where things didn't change. But so like I'm kind of on the fence about that. Like I now, the type of person I am now, and I'm always going to push for a conversation. But I can understand not having a conversation or not needing a conversation depending on certain circumstances for sure. But I think being just like complete shut off, I'm like, no, I don't like to hear that from my girls. I want us to be, we can't be just complete shut off. That's it.
No,
I
ma'am.
don't want no parts unless
Can't do that
obviously
for
they
you.
do something to you. That's crazy. Then yeah, but y'all don't be acting like y'all be just perfect little peaches because y'all sure don't be just perfect little peaches. And like
never that. But that's not
I
the
guess
point.
I guess I would say it depends on the situation.
You can't also be a type of person that just is like, oh, I'm never going to talk to this person again. And they don't even know what's going on. Or they don't even know what if they didn't even do what you think they did because you heard it from someone else and you cut them off and they didn't even do that. Like you'd have no conversation. You're just like, no,
I hear you and
No,
I get
that
where
girl
you're
did
coming
that.
from and makes complete sense.
She knew exactly
right?
what she was doing.
She knew exactly what she did.
That
But
girl
that's why I
did
said
that.
to know.
Nobody
wait,
can
hold
tell
on.
me otherwise.
Right. But that's why I said to know me is to know. There's two things that I want to touch upon. One, with Deasia, you form very deep relationships, right? Like you have a lot of friends that you are very close to, as opposed to me. And I don't want to say like she doesn't have like 20,000 friends. Like let's be frank. But she has a good group of friends where it's like she can have a party with her friends. And she
that
forms
was in the
very...
past. I don't have no friends no more, just so y'all know. That's not realistic.
We're talking
I don't have
about
friends. I don't have anybody that I can talk to about my life. I don't have no friends. Yes, I'm their friend, but I don't have friends. Just to be clear. I've never had friends.
They needed to know that though.
I was someone else's
sounds
friend.
like a 50-0.
Yeah.
I was someone else's friend more than they were
50-0.
my friend. So no, that's unrealistic. But I understand what you're saying, though.
Don't think they needed to know that.
They did.
All right. So going back, because we're talking about early college days, right? Or high school when this was really like a thing, and it's a question of which one is worse. But she formed very deep relationships with people. So it was that meaningful for her to have the conversation. Meanwhile, for me, I operate in a space of every relationship or every interaction is an interview into whether or not I am letting you into my inner circle. And I am the type to 100% say, you are so sweet. And if somebody says, oh, that's my best friend, I'll be like, you girl, we is not best friends. And I will say that right then and there in a real jokey way. But I don't let people assume things, nor do I let them speak things and let that not be the truth. Because one thing that I've always hated is when people get hurt because their expectations are set too high. And I know me. It's very hard for me to trust people. So I'm not going to give you a false sense of, oh, that's my bestie. She going to be ride or die okay with everything that I do, because that's not the case. There are literally, I think, 5 people, 3 of y'all and 2 more who honestly, no matter what y'all do, I'm riding for you because our relationship is just that deep. Now, you also know that I'm the type that if our relationship is that deep, I'm texting you anytime I feel any type of way about something, or I'm calling you for clarification if I feel as though I misunderstood something. Now, I think that is very important to say. But I think I also wanted to add on to Deek's point about her her story about her and one of her really close friends that is practically her sister, I think the relationship actually matters. So like the situation that I told where it was a new friend still figuring each other out versus somebody like Deasia or somebody like Tanaijah or somebody like Amani, we're having a conversation. I've said 20,000 times on this podcast, I'm a very communicative person. We're going to talk about it, but I don't think that everyone is worth that. And if I've been around you for a year and you haven't made it to the point of being worth that, why am I wasting my time?
I mean, I fully agree with what you just said, but I feel like the way that you said it the first time seemed like there would have been no conversation. Like if you and I have an issue, you're not trying to talk, there's nothing. Because that's fine too, because I don't need to talk to you if you do something to me or if I do something to you, if that's the way you go about it. But if you actually value the person, I think it's crazy to not have a conversation.
But like, there's also been instances.
Like if there's this, like if it was between us and there was like a thing and you can easily just cut off whatever. Like for me, that's weird because it's obviously there wasn't no value with me and how our relationship was. That's how I see it. Things could be different. Like I'm saying, that's with us. You guys are like my sisters. Same with that person.
Yeah.
With another friend, I can understand whatever. But like, it's definitely a difference between the relationships to just like cut off, not say nothing. I think that's crazy. Or like, if I'm feeling away, I'll definitely bring it up because I should be able to communicate and be like, yo, this was weird. This gave weird energy. Like, I don't know about this. Like, or like talk to one of you, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that brings us into the conversation of like discussing problems within a friendship. But I was purely answering the question of which one is worse in the situation of ending a relationship. I don't never think about ending a relationship with y'all. Like, this is lifelong. Like, y'all would have to do something real down, dirty, like, disgusting, grimy. I mean, like, lock her up tight, or I'm going to jail tight.
Under the jail.
Yeah, or put me under the jail. Like, it would have to be to that extent for us to ever end a relationship, period. So I don't even think about y'all in that situation or in that question. But y'all don't count. So don't count. I wasn't even thinking about y'all. So yes, DH, I completely get that. Because if we were talking about us and one of y'all has said, there's no conversation, I'm ending it, we're going to have a conversation about that. Because that is a problem for me. But y'all know,
we're pulling up
I'm quick to pick up the phone.
I'm getting on a flight.
Okay.
And if I can't get a flight, I'm driving there.
And she would. She'd be right outside my door like, hello? Because you had said what?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, I mean, get my girl outside.
No, literally.
Right now.
Literally.
But no, I definitely, I feel like certain people I've been friends with for too long for them not to know. Like, I feel like certain stuff is very common sense, to a point where it's like, oh, you should know when you're moving weird. Like what are you doing? What are your intentions, to be honest? Especially when it's like, I don't even want to say like, give an example because I'm gonna be real spot on and
she's like, if somebody can beat around the bush with this
like one. No, seriously. Like, we'll talk about that after the podcast. That anyway. I feel like certain people should already know, like, you're moving weird, even when if it's not even me and it's a whole friendship. Like, you should, I feel like you should be knowing that you're moving weird. Like, you know exactly what you're doing. Especially if I have to say, I shouldn't have to say something to you more than one time. If I said something to you once and you already know that's already like, it's making me feel like you moving weird, then you should already know future, not future expectations, but like you should already know.
Yeah, but that's my expectation is that. And if you do anything other than that, then you already know how I'm gonna feel about it.
Right. And like I said before, I do not like repeating myself. So if I gotta repeat myself to you more than once on that's making me feel away or you're moving weird, then there's nothing else for me to say to you. Like, I don't need to reach out to you or explain to you why I feel the way I feel. So
like, keep doing it over and over. Yeah, nobody's doing that.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Nobody's doing that. No, I agree with you 100%. And I'm crying because Deke said, don't y'all act like y'all are all peachy and you're not. And I don't believe I am. Like I said, I think I'm a great friend, but I can also be a bad friend at times with certain things. I know that. But I do know the type of friend
Not
that
yeah
I
to you,
am.
but yeah, in agreement. Just want to clarify because Amani started laughing real hard.
Because she was real quick with that. Yeah.
But I do know the type of friend that I am. And I do know that the things that I do, there's always intention behind it. So in that specific situation that I shared, I know that I'm reaching out to you because both your grandparents passed a couple weeks back to back. I know what my intention is. I'm checking on your mental health. Like, I'm reaching out. So for your response to be on some, I don't need to talk to her. And that had to be facts because you never was responding to me already. So clearly you felt like there was no, you don't need to talk to me for whatever the reason may be. There's nothing to talk about. I'm not calling your phone to say, hey, I heard X, Y, and Z. No, you said it. I believe it came out of your mouth. And the fact that I'm so certain and I feel that way, I know, because again, because the way that I do value my friendship, I know my people. I pay attention to your patterns. And so there's certain things that somebody could tell me that Deja said, and I'd be like, she did not say that. There's a fact that did not come out of her mouth. Same with Winnie, same with Amani, like, no. Now, if there's certain things that if you say they said, I'll be like, yeah, they said that. I know they did. And I know they said 100%. It. And if it's something that I need to confront, like if it was something I need to confront them about or talk to them about, I should say, then I would. But I know the people that I call my friend or that I have relationships with. So I know you said that. I know it came out of your mouth, and that's okay. Stand on that because it's clip. But in that same situation, there was another mutual that I met through her who was moving a little wonky to me, how it was portrayed to me. She was moving wonky. Again, I didn't know her that well. So if the person I do have a relationship with is saying, yeah, this and this is going on, I invited her to come to this, I've invited her to do this. When I came up to your family's, funerals and stuff, this person wasn't showing up, even though I know she was invited because we were all talking and stuff. You're not showing up. There's no communication. And then I was told there was no communication on the back end, blah, blah, blah. She wasn't my friend enough for me to reach out and say, like, hey, like, what's going on or whatever. So I just stopped talking to her. It really was nothing for us to talk about. Again, but when the situation happened with the other girl, the external person ended up she had someone reach out to me and say, hey, can I come to your dorm so we can have a conversation? And I was like, sure. She came, we had a conversation. Cool. There was never any beef or anything like that. But we did have a conversation, came to a resolve, and she was like, I don't want you to think blah, 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 blah. Show me proof. It was a whole thing. But anyways, so I'm never above having a conversation with someone if I think it's worth a conversation. But certain things I know, like, yeah, nah, it's clipped for that. It's nothing to talk about.
I just wanted to clarify too, like, obviously there's situations where people just really don't deserve to hear them out or vice versa or whatever it is. So I completely understand that point of view as well. But I feel like just having that set agenda of just completely cut off, no conversation, it, like, yes, you might be okay, but your friend that you did value might not. So I feel like being open to having a conversation is definitely better than just being like, I ain't talking to that girl, like, blah, 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 whatever it is. I don't know. We don't have a specific scenario to play off here. So it's like, I feel like just in general, yes, a conversation should probably be had. There are circumstances where a conversation doesn't need to be had at all. Like, clip, and that's it. I understand that too. I understand both sides. Me growing up and realizing, like, I've had a lot of relationships where I didn't have a conversation and it left it where it was. I grew up to learning how to properly communicate and talk. And I feel like that's definitely like a valuable thing to have. So I understand both sides of the whatever that is. Because I don't even know what it is. Of the POV.
I'm crying. Okay, so do you think this is, again, my mind's wandering. I have so many things to talk about when it comes to friendships, but we can't be here all day. But there is something else because we talked a lot about, growing apart, dynamics changing, and different things like that. Do you think, or have you ever been in a situation where you were battling with, like, growing apart just being a natural, it's just a natural thing that's happening in a friendship, or you just weren't trying hard enough? Like sometimes let's be honest, I think people experience friendships with people who just don't try. Like you're not trying to even be a good friend versus we're just kind of growing apart, but it's like you're just not even trying. Like let's say I'm inviting you to stuff and you just are choosing not to show up every single time. I just feel like you're just not trying to even be a friend. Or I'm reaching out saying, hey, let's link up every now and then, and you're just never, talking to me or giving me that same energy. And then, but I see you hanging out with other people, but we still it still feels like there's a friendship there, but there's just certain areas that you don't try with. Or is that really just, okay, we're just growing apart? Is that just naturally happening, or are they just not trying?
So like a current situation that it's not even a situation because it's really nothing, but a current encounter I've had recently with a friend that basically describes similar things like that, like which having conversation with my partner also like helps me realize like my actual thoughts compared to my like feeling thoughts. Like I feel a way because I'm not being invited, but like like I genuinely don't care though. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like parts
That's
of me
really
are like,
good, though.
oh,
I think
like
that's a good thing to
dang,
point
I
out.
don't like I don't I feel a way like dang that she didn't invite me to that. Like that would have been fun. Like it's FOMO, but like I really don't care that I wasn't invited because I know that that's really not my type of vibe
Not my
anymore.
thing.
So like it's
Yeah.
okay for me not to be thought about in that type of situation, but I'm being thought about at the like the homey vibes or something like that. Like and I
Right.
still respect that because you know the type of friend I am. Like you know I'm probably not gonna I really have to get myself out of my shell to go out with y'all. But like we being in a home vibe, I can be a little more myself, be a little more calm, a lot less of like social anxiety, things like that. So like I can understand having like just being in that because I feel like recently I've endured this where again I'm the only one in my friend group that has a child. So I don't really go out to clubs anymore. Honestly, my club person is Tanaijah and she quite literally doesn't live here. Like so it's like since you moved, I have really never been out. You know what I mean? I'll go out, Mani, but like Mani's busy. She always is doing something. So like I don't really go out with people that I'm not too locked in with. Like I know that me and Tay, when we go out, we're gonna be dancing the same to the same type of music, singing the same. Like that's my vibe compared to like going out with just different friends. So I know that's not my vibe anymore, and it's okay to just move on from that. I keep saying vibe, but it's okay to move on from that life. But it is hard to realize, like, I'm not like that anymore, too. Like, it's like a weird way to play about it.
No, that's true. That's something I didn't think about, but I definitely do think there is a difference between your friends just, not trying per se or like not inviting you to stuff versus them respecting who you are as a person and choosing not to even invite you to that specific environment. Like, I don't know why the example randomly just popped in my head, but that's like Amani getting a section or something somewhere. Not saying that she wouldn't invite me because she just loves me so much. And like, of course, she would want me to be there. But I would never be offended if I wasn't somebody that she texts and I saw y'all in a section because me in a section just doesn't even really. It just, like
no,
going,
that would never happen.
Yeah.
But you but you in a section makes more sense because we're most likely not going to be going out and just standing in the middle of a club anymore.
No,
we would most
I'm
likely
just saying,
have
like,
a designated area.
I'm crying. No, but Amani's like, no, you have to come regardless. I don't care if you just sit down the whole time. Like,
yeah,
golly.
if anything, I will be offended.
Just using it as an example. I'm just using it as an example. Not if anything, I would be offended. You didn't come, so now I'm upset. Okay, great. Like, stop. Because you already know. I'd be like, hey, it's not really. You'd be like, fine. We're doing brunch tomorrow. I'll just come there. You already know.
I'm like, all right.
Right. Okay. But I do think there is a difference. I think that certain people do have friends that just like know their people, so they don't invite them to certain things. So that makes sense.
I think this is a funny question for me because I'm typically the friend that's not showing up to everything. I love how, the laughs just start going. But no, for real, like I'm really the friend that's not coming out the house for any and everything. Now, birthdays, I'm there. Like if I don't care where we're going, let me know what the plan is. I'm there just as long as I know in advance. Um, but just on a regular day, you can't tell me on Thursday that you want to go out Friday night and expect me to be there. Like that's just not realistic for me. And I've been like that my entire life. And then on top of that, now I have a child. I have a daughter. Like I'm not the mom that's going to find a last minute babysitter just to go sit in a section all night. But prime example, Thanksgiving, we went out to Big's family in North Carolina, and I knew that they wanted to go out. I knew that it was a plan that one of those nights we was going out to the club. They was going in a section and we was going out. I'm there. My motto, and this has always been my motto, I might not go outside much. I really be out the way, but get me outside and I really truly am a good time. But
yes, it's true. This is true.
As far as like just the random just being outside, like that's not me. Like that's never been me. I don't like to be seen. I really like to be out the way. So anything that's loud, busy, like you're just not gonna catch me there. That's just not my scene. And again, I've been like that my entire life. Now, as far as other things go, like I'm there. I'm not gonna say I'm the friend that's never showing up to anything. But just like a lot of the frivolous fun stuff, most of the time I'm not there. And I think to the point where when I say I've been like that my entire life, I've genuinely been like that my entire life. Part of it was because my mother was strict. I had to find my way to everywhere and anywhere, to the point where I just lost interest in doing extra stuff because that's mad work. Like I don't drive. I don't have no car. I don't have no L's. So like I got content with my own company, and I'm really good at enjoying my own company now. I was gonna say something. There was a whole point to me saying that. But
okay, but when you figure that out, because ain't nobody was stricter than my mom, more stricter than my mom. Even when I got my car, I had to have my location on. When I got out of school, she would call me trying to figure out why I look like I'm parked at the deli on Sawmill right next to the highway.
Sorry, but
I'm not even gonna debate that because
like at that time, oh my, like just thinking about it, it's so funny because it's like at that time it's like, dang, like I would be scared when I would miss a call. I would be shaking in my boots when I miss a call, bro. I'm like, yo, I'm about to get in so much trouble. I was trying to figure out ways to see if my location can like glitch or something, like, or get an iPad or my computer and say my location says at home, but I'm really somewhere else. Like I used to try to figure out so many ways.
That's a lot. No, my mother was very, very, very strict. And I always say, like, I grew up in a very loving home, but it was also very militant to the point where, and I'm also not a complainer. So it's like I didn't grow up complaining about how strict my mom was. Like the rules was the rules, and not just like that was that. Like I wasn't staying at nobody's house. I wasn't even going over to nobody's house because she didn't know who they was. Like I wasn't going out nowhere. Like, and it is what it is. Like I actually truly respect it because it made me who I am today. And I think I'm a lot further than a lot of my peers because of how strict my mom was. And I think that that's another conversation to get into for another time. But yeah, Michelle wasn't going for none of that. So I got content with my own company, got real good at entertaining myself. And so now y'all gotta convince me to go outside. Like that's just really what it is. But if I love you, I'm going out. Like that's really what I was trying to get to. If I love you, I'm showing up for the things that matter. But you're not gonna catch me going out with you every time you want to go out because that's just not me. Like at that point now, I'm miserable. Like I'm feeding you. Like there's nothing that we're doing that's feeding me.
But I think specifically, Jesus, I can't say that word today. Specifically talking about us, we know each other pretty well. So I think internally we would, I mean, at least I could speak for myself. I would never take it personal if I sent out a general last minute text and Winter's the one that like, yeah, I'm not gonna be there, catch y'all next time. I wouldn't take that personal because I know that has nothing to do with me. That's like, she just doesn't want to come, and that's perfectly fine.
And it's literally just that I don't want to. And that's so
Yeah.
bad. Like, and that's when I say, like, 2025, I'm trying to be better because I can acknowledge that, as Dee Dee said, we're not perfect. And I know my flaws, and I'm perfectly okay with people pointing them out. But 2025, I am trying to be better about just showing up just to show up.
No, I'm happy that you are working on that, because I genuinely also had the perspective that you really just didn't want to come. Not that you just, like, I always just think, like, oh, if you're not coming, it's because you don't want to. But, like, whole time you might have wanted to. You just don't even really know how, because you don't even know how to be outside.
Literally, like.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
And the crazy, okay, wait, let's not be dramatic. I know how to be outside, but from the perspective of, like, just getting up and going out just to frivolously get up and go out because y'all want to go out, like, there has to be a reason for me. Like, I literally grew up to the point where you don't sit down. And it's going to sound so crazy. And please, y'all don't pity my childhood because it was great, honey. I had a time, baby. But you don't sit down and kick your feet up until the whole entire house is clean. Like, what are you relaxing for? Like, there's dishes in the sink. Like, that is the mindset that I grew up with. And it has paid off tremendously for me in my adult years. But for real, like, I'm not going, because I don't want to, but also because I don't know how to just go just to go. Like, what are we celebrating? Why am I outside?
It's so funny because knowing my aunt, it makes so much sense as to why you are the way you are. And I get it. Like, I get it. Like, it's not a question. It's not, I never felt no way. Like, when you actually show up, I feel even better. Because like I told you, like, for my birthday, you being at bowling, I was like, oh my gosh, she really loves me. Like, she's here. Knowing dang well that I felt like it was last minute because I was surprised. So I already knew if it was last minute for you and you made it outside, dang, like, you really love me. Like, I already know. It just makes it feel like a little more oomph to it when you pop out.
See, that's also something that I learned in high school, that when I do show up, it means a lot to people. But I think, I don't know, I think for me, I just would like to be there a lot more. Now, granted, I'm still not going to be the one to make it to everything. That's just never going to be me. Like, at this point, I'm 26. And this year I'll be 27, baby. I am who I am. And we like to be in the house. But, you know, a little bit more pop-outs.
And meanwhile, I had to learn how to show up less because I'm used to my mom always showing up. So I've always shown up. Like, I feel bad if I don't show up to someone's birthday event, or I feel bad if I don't do this, even if I don't really want to go. I just be like, all right, let me just go for like an hour just to show face, then leave. Whole time I could have just not had gone. Most of the time I have more fun once I'm there than how I planned it in my brain. But for me to have like a little bit, very small amount of social anxiety, it's not high, or like others, but for me to have that and already talk myself out of attending certain things because I'm like timid, but knowing that I feel bad if I don't show up for someone, I'm like, I've had to spend this past couple of years learning to not go. Like, learning to be like, no, I don't want to go. I'm not going. Like now I'm able to see an invitation come in and I'd be like, I'm not going to that. I don't want to go. And I just won't go. And that makes me feel so much better than like before when I'm like, oh, I have to show up for this person, show up for that person. For what? For some people to not be able to show up for me. Granted, I've never thought that if someone didn't show up for me, they didn't care. Like, I never thought that. I'm very happy that I didn't. Like, I never expected someone to be the way I was to them. I've always known that if I was a friend more to someone than they were to me, I knew that place. Like, I knew my place. Like, I knew how I was. I know that sometimes when I encounter people, they probably need the type of person I am because I'm like that. And not everyone has someone like that. So I'm happy with where I am now, but I'm even more grateful of being able to learn to say no now as an adult. It just feels better.
I feel that. I feel like I grew up with my mom being the same way. She always showed up and showed out for her people, her family, friends, the same. No difference there. You there at all the parties. You help set up the parties. You help break down the parties. Stay at the house. You help clean the house. And you don't leave till everybody else is pretty much gone because you're helping your friend wash the dishes, put the dishes away. Like, I grew up with a mom like that. So that's how I am. I am slowly, like, you know, learning to just be like, it's okay. But when I moved, I think is what forced that to be the case, because baby was spending up a whole lot of money coming back and forth. If y'all only knew how many times I came back and forth to Connecticut when I first moved, every time there was something going on, I was there. Can't say that I wasn't, because I was surely on a flight or on the road. My man and I would be up and down the highway all the time because I was there. It didn't matter. We were showing up. If somebody invited us to something, it was built into the schedule that we're going to Connecticut for this allotted amount of time so we could attend this event in the beginning of this month, and we're going to stay there all the way until the beginning of the following month so that we could be there for that event too, and then we'll come back down south. Like, I based a lot of things off of just showing up for people. And it's crazy because now, being in a different headspace, I look back and I'm like, there were certain jobs and stuff that I was like, oh, I have to work remote because I need to be able to freely go to Connecticut. I need to be able to pick up and go and be here and be there. And it wasn't really for just me wanting to be free. It was really like, free to just do anything. It was really because I wanted to be able to show up for my people. And a lot of my people I don't have any family here. So it's just us. So I really feel that it's something that I think a lot of people end up doing. You start basing your life off of showing up for other people. And baby, I had to put that down because it's not doing anything but burning a hole in my pocket. And I like to keep my money. So I love y'all down, but if it don't work into the schedule, I'm so sorry. Until, again, M's are in the bank account, I promise you. Oh, if money is not an issue, I would still show up. That's the problem too. See, I probably still wouldn't say no, because if I had the funds to just freely come and go for real the way I would like to, I'd be there for like the smallest things on earth. So I guess I really haven't been delivered from that. It's just I choose not to spend my money the same way.
Well, not for nothing. I get that because, again, I'm not the one for the frivolous, let's just go out. But if I'm there for the stuff that matters, and I'm also raised in a family, well, we all got hands in the same family. But even my actual blood family, like my father's side, my mother's side, on the other sides of the sides, it's the same. Like, you show up hours before the event to help set up. You're cooking the night before. I'm the last one to stay to help break stuff down, and then gotta find my way home because my mom already left me. But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But to the point where Big, my man, will literally be sitting there at the end of the event like, all right, the event is over, let's go.
Ooh, my man hate that down. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for him. That is so true.
And I didn't realize
and
that
honestly,
that
so do
wasn't
mine.
a common thing. Like, is it the men, or is it just
it's our
the
moms.
families?
They're the problem.
It's the families. It's the families. And not that anything's wrong with it, but it's just like, if you just aren't used to your family doing that, it's so foreign. It's like, yeah, this is my family's party, but why do I have to think it in this way? Yeah, like, I can go home.
I do think it is a boys thing. A boys thing. Like, I don't think they really typically help put stuff together, clean stuff up.
There. We do force them.
And don't be doing nothing. And they don't do nothing unless they're told.
They're forced.
This was clear.
But they're there.
Definitely forced, but they're there. That's really the...
But also, if you think about it, we have a matriarchal family. All of the ones really there, breaking things down, putting it together, building, painting, cooking, cleaning, prepping, ordering, calling, scheduling. It's the women, right? And the men are not there. Also, we have a matriarchal family. A lot of them, there is no men, and that's just fine. But the men don't see that as their example, as opposed to us, that is literally our example. Like, that is the footsteps that we're walking into and that we're filling. So I think also the upbringing is a little bit different because we see what we are growing into in front of us, and we start to emulate that, as opposed to them where it's like, all right, well, it's just the women out there. Like, what I'm be out there for. If you don't get your little two-leg self out here and help, that's what you're gonna be out there for. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
Because I promise you, your future wife is gonna love to see it.
That was an adjustment, I feel like, in my relationship.
I'm still adjusting.
My man really used to just be looking like, I don't understand why we have to be here so early and why we gotta leave so late. Like, I just don't understand. Obviously, if it was things for like my mom, no questions, hands down, he's gonna do it. I don't have to ask. But if it was like external to that, it's like, yeah, I don't get it. Like, I don't really get it. I feel like I could just sit over here. If you want to help, great. But then I have to be like, can you help me? If you help me, I can go faster. How about that? I can leave quicker if you just
It was
get up
the
and help.
base. It was the base. Now I need to ask. Never mind. Get up and help me.
But now he does it freely.
Yeah.
As soon as I start moving, he starts moving.
And I'm also better now than I have been. Like before, I used to be like from beginning to end. Now I'll be like, I'm definitely not helping this event. Like I ain't touching nothing in the beginning, I ain't touching nothing in the end. I'm a guest, and I'll leave. Or I pre-plan like, okay, I'm gonna go early enough to help set up, but I'm not staying to break it down. Or I'll go late enough so I can help break it down, but I'm not helping set up. Like I have a whole plan now. It's either one of the three options, compared to feeling like I needed to be there from start to finish, helping everything. I can't do that no more. That's out the window. Quite literally out the window. Only things we do stuff like that for is for the kids. Okay? Other than that,
honey, for the kids.
Yeah, show up for the kids. Show up for the kids.
Yeah.
And I think at least for me, our personal, like if it's something for Deasia, or if it's something for Tanaijah, or something for Amani, like then okay, I'm in there, I'm breaking my back, and of course my mother, no questions asked, like that's just is what it is. But all the extendeds, the cousins that I ain't seen and all that long, y'all don't call, y'all don't reach out, y'all just looking for the accolades, the highlights, and the accomplishments. I can't do it.
Yeah,
because y'all ain't never did it for me. Love you. Yeah, that's it.
That part.
I ain't got it for you. I ain't got it for you. Shoot, I barely got it for me. Shoot.
We've already said you're going to be late to your own funeral, so it's okay.
No, 100%. Literally.
Please, just make sure I'm fashionably late.
Not fashionably. Not them being like, hold up, the casket's here, but she's not in there. What?
No, literally. She's still getting her face.
They don't laugh me. They don't laugh me. They don't laugh me. They gotta come back.
They're gonna roll you in separately. Like, huh? What?
That is crazy.
I'm gonna just be like, just forget it. Pack it up. It's time to go.
Yeah, we'll let y'all know when she get here.
Like, at this point,
just eat, just do whatever y'all socialize.
Right.
The drinks is downstairs. Like,
exactly.
We'll call y'all when it's time.
Right.
Make sure you tip the bartender.
You need help.
No. Tip the bartender at the repast is crazy. Okay,
they tipping you?
Like what?
Yeah.
Okay. I
needed that ab workout. I needed that.
Okay, I have one more question to wrap our conversation. So obviously we talked about having conversations. If the friendship means a lot to you, having that conversation, resolving the issues and all of that. Do you guys think that once those friendships are rekindled, can it go back to the way it was, or is it never the same?
No. It's never the same, and that's not saying that it's a bad thing. I mean, you guys, there's other ways to create that friendship into not what it was, but what it can be.
I love that.
I love that answer, because that's exactly what I was gonna say. Just from based on experience, like the chemistry for me and my friend is there. It's like very this much the same, because we're the same like kids at heart, like. But we're adults now, so our lives are definitely different. Like our conversations are different, but like all in all, like everything is pretty much the same though. But it's more, I feel like, having the expectation of growing together from this point on than to expect to be back to something that already happened. I think it's always good to look for the next, how you guys can grow together as a friendship.
I think from my personal experience, it's been a complete transformation of the relationship as a whole, if there is one at all. Because again, and I know y'all getting tired of hearing me say this, I really do move off a principle. And if the principle was not understood, then that is a fundamental issue. Like that is not something that we could really get over, because your perspective is just different from mine. And that innately is the actual problem. but we have molded the relationship to be something completely and entirely different. They're no longer looking for me to be their best friend, ride or die confidant, especially if they don't like my response to the situation that they're putting on the table or the conversation that's being had or my lack of co-signing for their behavior. So I don't think that expectation should ever be for it to be the same. I think that's just very unhealthy in all forms of relationships because it needed to change for a reason. Like there needed to be a shift. There was a problem for a reason. So whatever the new evolution of that relationship is, I think as Deke touched upon and as Amani said, it needs to be the main focus of what the relationship is now and what it's going to become as opposed to what it was, because there was a problem with what it was. So we shouldn't be looking to go back there regardless.
Something you just said, it's going to veer us off just a little bit, but something you just said made me think about a post that I shared on my Facebook the other day. And it was a bishop in North Carolina, but I reshared his post. And it said, oftentimes the challenge with stupidity is that it's perpetuated through affirmation. Some people will never change because every friend they have co-signs their foolishness. Nothing is worse than a twisted person asking a twisted person whether they're twisted or not.
Come on now.
They labeled you as their enemy when really you were just a friend who told them the truth they didn't want to hear.
Preach it. He was preaching. He was preaching. He was preaching, because it's the same thing with the Holy Spirit, baby. He ain't gonna let me do what I want to do. I'm gonna be convicted every time. Now it might come in the form of a friend, right? Or it might be a spiritual conviction, like you ain't supposed to be doing that. But either way, you have to take heed because it's coming from a place of love.
Yes, and that's the thing. Be aware of the people that one that you even call your friend. Every person that you interact with is not your friend. Let's stop using that word so freely. Just like, I hope every, if you're in the dating season, I hope every man you come across, you're not calling him your boyfriend, your man, all that, because it's not. So let's do the same thing with our friendships, okay? Let's stop calling every person that we come across our friend. There is such thing as associates. There are people that are just colleagues. You don't got to go to work and call everybody your work friend, work bestie, all that. Just, you could be cordial with people and they don't have to be your friend, because your friends impact your life. And that could be detrimentally, positively, all of the things. But be wise about that. There's a story in the Bible about a man whose friends are the reason that he got healed, because they were willing to tear the roof off of the place just for him to get in front of Jesus so that he can be healed. So it's important that you have people around you that are willing to tear the roof off for you to become the best version of you. And sometimes you guys go through rough patches. Sometimes you may not feel like you're on the same page, but much to like what we spoke about today. Listen, the world right now is a scary place. And people are just going through different things. But if you learn how to communicate with your people, and you have different cues amongst each other, much to what Winnie said earlier, is like, you just know if that is really your friend. You know when they're off. You know when you can sense that they need you to kind of reach out a little bit more during this season. But let's also learn not to take everything personal. I think that's a lot of the reasons why friendships do end, is because we go into it thinking everything is about us. So let's stop being selfish in friendships as well. Is there any last words from any of the ladies before we close this good old episode?
Well, you know me, I always got my little 1-2-1-2. Back to the whole not calling everybody your friend. Yeah, don't do that, because you will be disappointed. And I'm talking for experience. All right. All right. Because one thing about it, these three girls right here would always tell me that it's not your friend.
Not your friend.
That is my friend.
How many times did I tell you to leave her alone?
Right. We will tell you that is not your friend.
I'll say it quickly. Right. To the point, stop talking to me about her.
Stop calling her that.
It's not your friend.
All right. The extras, yeah.
Stop it. Cut it out. No.
No, you brought it up. I think that struck a nerve, because
listen, I'm just trying to do the ending closure.
Okay, wait. Okay, one more closure. Let me help you seal this up, baby. One more. earlier in the episode, Amani mentioned, or somebody mentioned how Amani gets overly invested or extremely invested in her friends to the point where their problems are her problems and she tries to fix them for them, right? For us, Amani's problems are our problems. Deaja's problems are our problems. Tanaijah's problems are our problems. So if we're hearing about other people's problems, because now you've taken them on as your own, now I got a problem. Now Deaja got a problem. Now Tanaijah got a problem. Because we are here to help you. We are here to build you. Not, can't say no names because they might be close to whomever it might have been, but not them. Okay? So that is the closure.
Honestly,
closure.
no, that is so true. I'm sorry.
We got more.
I vividly remember turning 18 and telling Amani, like, girl, I am 18 now. I cannot be ready to tear someone's head off because it's because of your friend. Like, whatever you about, I'm with you. So if you on something, I'm on something behind you. But I can't be doing that off of the sentiment from someone else. So I'm 18 now. We're going to have to start slimming it down. Oh,
they said this ain't no ring around the rosy. This ain't no ring around the rosy. No, literally.
We're not holding
no
hands.
Pockets, no posies. None of that.
No. No, that is so true. So all in all, let's be wise, okay, about who we choose to link arms with and run in a circle if we're talking about ring around the rosy, okay? But sometimes when the group chat goes silent, it doesn't mean that the friendships are dead. Sometimes you do need somebody like Amani who's going to just, keep you guys living, keep the heartbeat flowing every now and then. So if you're that person, we love you, your friends love you, and they appreciate you even if it doesn't feel like it. I just wanted to say that. But thank you guys for listening to yet another episode. And until next time, bye guys.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, groupies.
Thanks for hanging with us on Group Chat Calling. Ready to make it official? Join the group and be a part of the convo every Wednesday. Hit that follow button so you never miss a call. Catch you next week.